Hey, welcome back, Let's Players. It's time for the Christmas special of Let's Play Fire Emblem! Even though in this episode there's actually nothing really different, you know, except that it's Christmas, so you might watch it, and there was a lolcat different. Ah, lolcats. It actually took me a long time to get that Jingle Bell sound right, and time it right with the credits and the opening title and stuff. So you better watch that thing a couple times, just, you know, just to respect the work I put into that. Anyway, so in this episode, Elwood and Hector, they go on the hunch that the dead Marcus Santaruz told them. And he pretty much said, go to Laws, they're starting a war, and you should go check that out. So we did. You might notice this later, or you will notice this later on when I do Hector's story, but I think I might as well tell you now. In Elwood's story, there's this level, and there's the level right after it, which I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's a level right after it where you leave Laws, the city. Laws, however it's pronounced. But in Hector's story, I'm okay with spoiling it for you now because you'll either forget it by then, or, you know, I'll say it again. There's a level in between where you defend the castle from a group of mercenaries that was hired by the king, the fief, I guess. So anyways, it's kind of funny because if you either played the English translation of the Blinding Blade, it's called the Blinding Blade in English, but a better translation, I guess, is the Sword of Seals. Ah, crap, is my video a little... Oh, no, my video's fine. But anyways, in the Blinding Blade, if you see it on Draw, or the Sword of Seals, if you've seen the English translation, you are in this exact same map, fighting the exact same boss, with almost the exact same enemies. And Marcus is there, too. Because Marcus is in both games. And ironically enough, I think Eric, who's the boss of this one, I think he's actually a little worse later on. But like, in his older form, in the prequel that is actually the sequel chronology. It's really confusing. But, just to sum it up, this is the 7th Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem 6 takes place with these, like Elwood's son, and Hector's daughter is the main character. So they just added this to sort of, you know, clarify and give backgrounds to everybody who just randomly appeared, I guess. And they added one of the most badass characters ever. Okay, so in this map, you can get you get 2 good characters, and not only do you get the 2 characters, one of them lets you get another character, who lets you get another character. It's a nice little chain, and 2 of them show up in the 2nd level. All in all, the characters aren't too hard to get, except one of them, I think I can kind of spoil it for you now. One you get is Urk, the mage you saw from the tutorial. He's a little difficult because he starts near the enemy, so he gets attacked first, and since he's a mage, he might die if you don't hurry up and save his ass. Okay, and also, this has been kind of bothering me. I've been hearing a lot of people complaining as to why mages get an attack range of 1 and 2, of 1 space away and 2 space away. The only other things that can do that are really crappy weapons like the javelin and the hand axe. But there's actually a very, very, very good reason for that. Think about it. What are the 2 things that the mages have best? They tend to have a really, really, really good resistance and good magic strength, but that doesn't really matter because, you know, it doesn't do anything besides effect damage. Now, if they have a good resistance, you would say, oh, that they should fight other mages. But you forget, those mages also have a good resistance. So a mage versus mage fight, unless your mage is really, really, really much better than his mage, it tends to go on for a really long time, and sometimes it can get annoying. So, instead, you tend to kill them with a really quick character, like a Myrmidon would do very well against a mage. Lyn she tends to get a really good magic resistance. So does Marcus. And any Pegasus Knight, they have a really high magic resistance. But also the main point of, you know, using a not mage to kill mages is because they have they tend to have good attacks, while mages tend to have resistances that are horrible. So mages can't fight particularly well versus melee guys either, because their horrible defenses make it so that they die on the second hit. So, I mean, if they can't fight mages very well, or it just takes way too long, and they can't fight melee guys very well, then they've got to have a good bonus. That bonus is being able to take complete control of the enemy's position. So, if the high magic compared to the enemy's low resistance makes it so that they're superior as long as they're not getting hit. So, if the enemy, especially an axe user, but if the enemy has any melee weapon, you can hit him from 2 spaces away and destroy him before he can even get a chance to swing at you. While if the enemy is, say, an archer, you can get right up close to him and punch him in the face before he can do anything to fight you. So mages are actually really, really well balanced because of that. Even though they tend to... My mages tend to be good enough, or have a high enough magic attack to crush other mages. But even then, if you see a mage, and your own units aren't being put at a major risk by, like melee units, they're not being put at a major risk by fighting the mage, they're good ways to train, because since they have the low HP and the low defense, even a thief won't have a really hard time killing him as long as he doesn't get hit in return. Now, in this map, you might notice, hey, I don't use Marcus. That's because I don't like Marcus, but I've already been through this. He's definitely not worth it to use early on because he gets no experience points and he blocks the other guys with experience. But now, instead of just sitting back and, you know, reinforcing my guys when they desperately need it, Marcus has a purpose. Marcus's purpose in this is Merlinus' guard. For a few reasons. One, Marcus is cavalry, so, and a paladin too, who have the best movements in the game next to Pegasus Knights. So if the need ever really, really rises, Marcus is ready to go and reinforce it. Second reason, Marcus and Merlinus actually get a support. So if the tent ever comes under fire, Marcus is one of the best prepared, and he's actually the best suited to defend the tent. The other one is Vida, who has the same sort of, you know, movement ability to catch up as Marcus, but she's a lot stronger than Marcus. And the other one is Nino, who starts really weak, so you don't want to be putting her next to the tent, or else she'll be really useless. And third, Marcus and Merlinus have a special ending together. I don't really want to spoil it, but I mean, it's Marcus and Merlinus' only special endings, so why not? So how about the next pose? Okay, that was a really bad joke, but it's still kind of funny if you have to go back and get it. But anyways, I had a kind of nice Christmas. I'm getting off the topic here, I know, but there's not too much to topic on, really. I got some video games. I got Skyward Sword. Legend of Zelda kicks ass too, by the way. And anyways, crap, I actually forgot to tell you, that person you saw before, with the red hair and the little, like, feather thing going on in it, she's the other character you get. Her backstory is, well, you're gonna find it out through supports, and, you know, just having Priscilla talk to, well, her name's Priscilla, having her talk to Urk and stuff, having her do supports with anyone, you'll find out her backstory well enough. But she's a troubadour, she's the only one you get, just like how Sarah is the only cleric you get. And she's sort of a better Sarah, because Sarah's on the ground, and Priscilla is in the air. not in the air. What am I saying? She's on a horse. I'm on a horse. Okay, I couldn't help doing that. But anyways, she's on a horse. So she has a much better movement range than anyone else. So she makes the ideal candidate for a healer, because if things get too intense, I guess, then she can beat a hasty retreat. And also, she tends to have a better magic, and she starts with a bend staff, which is always nice. That, and she lets you recruit someone in the next chapter, who lets you recruit someone in that same chapter, so it's a little complicated for a loop, but you'll see next chapter. Wait, no, it's the chapter after. Next chapter you get 5 characters, but you've already seen them. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about, where you have to pay serious attention to Urk to make sure he doesn't die. Because if you do not save him, die he will. Unlike most characters, and NPCs that you can recruit, actually no, like most characters, his main objective is to kill all the guys on the map, instead of searching for you. The only ones who search for you to be recruited are, like, clerics, trapdoors, anyone that can't fight, they automatically try to search for the person who recruits them. However, the fighty ones fight. Which is nice, unless they're in this situation, where Urk almost died, and trust me, when I was playing that, I had a mini heart attack. And, you know, maybe if I was recording this live, you'd have heard a nice little freak out. Okay, so, wow, I'm actually surprised. This one didn't have any, you know, little mess-ups in the recording, so I'm kind of happy with this, actually. The timing's perfect, not like the last one where we sort of turned into the future. Sarah's getting shot, so I should have someone look at that. That's where Matthew comes in, because Sarah doesn't get too much fighting, like she's not in danger too much. So the thief makes an ideal candidate to guard her, unless of course he needs to run around and save stuff. Well, open chests. Because if you think about it, the only things that will be getting to her will be extremely weakened guys that just, you know, saw the cleric was open and made a dive for it. And archers. That's about it. I mean, you might face the occasional cavalry, in which it's a really good idea for both of them to get the hell out of there right now. But if you look really closely at the movements before you make your move, you should be able to catch stuff like that. That, and I mean, the thief doesn't need a lot of experience points to get his level ups, and it makes him a very good fighter in the end, actually. Believe it or not, Matthew is normally a very good assassin. Like, he tends to have a good enough strength to be able to kill people as a thief. Like, right now he has 7, which is really high for a thief. But you'll notice I tend to use Legault as a thief instead of Matthew, because Matthew also has the benefit of a really, really good speed. So he's the guy I use to steal stuff. When an assassin classes up, he loses that ability, which I find really kind of stupid, but it's, you know, I guess it balances it out. Okay, so Urk saved. I'll be able to go and, you know, bring him to Sarah and talk to him. But now my next order of business is dealing with that house. I have to get to that village before the bandits get there, or else I've lost Priscilla. And that's bad. And I'd have to restart. But you know me, I wouldn't be putting this up if I lost Priscilla. Because, you know, I'm the most anal retentive guy in the world. If I lose a character, I quit and restart, so yeah, if you follow my strategies, or, you know, just vaguely look at it, then you'll see that your survival meter's highest, you know, your game speed is really low. Anyway, so there's a couple things I wanted to explain, but I'm running out of time. One thing I think I can get now is the woman, Hannah. She can give you a nice little fortune on the weather and stuff later on. But anyways, I'm running out of time, so that Gamer Mexican is signing out. See see you next episode where more stuff's gonna be explained.